Good morning, David.
Good morning, Salim.
Today we are going to talk about risk associated with projects.
Yes.
So let us start with our first question. Why are projects risky?
Yes, a lot of the early development of risk management has been done in the field of projects. And there's a reason for that, because projects by their very nature are risky. And there are 6 reasons in the nature, in the character of projects that make them always risky. So let's go through those quite quickly. First of all, every project is unique. No project is exactly the same as the project that went before. The solution may be slightly different, the client is different, the team is different, the scope is different. So there's something unique about every project. And the uniqueness brings risk with it, brings uncertainty, because we've never done this project before. We've never done the unique part of this project before. So because every project is unique, then every project is uncertain and risky. Secondly, projects are always complex to some degree. There's technical complexity, there's interface complexity, there's contractual complexity, resource complexity. If it wasn't complex, then it would just be a task or an activity. But because projects are complex, we need to have a plan, we need to have a strategy, we need to have a schedule and a budget and so on. And project management is there to control some level of the complexity. Because it's complex, then there are interactions within the various elements of the project which are unforeseen and unforeseeable, and that introduces risk and uncertainty. So projects are unique and projects are complex. All projects are based on assumptions. We don't know everything about the future, about how our project plan will unfold when we start to develop the project. So we make assumptions in the beginning. We have planning assumptions, scoping assumptions, technical assumptions, estimating assumptions. But an assumption is just a guess about the future. We hope this will happen, we think this will happen, but we might be wrong. So assumptions could be false, and if they are false, then the basis of our project could be undermined. All projects have assumptions. Assumptions are risky, so projects are risky. Most projects are also based on dependencies, so we can't do everything ourselves. We rely on other people to give us information, to give us parts of the project. We may have suppliers or subcontractors, and with those dependencies comes risk, because the people we're dependent on may not give us what we want when we want it. It may not fit with the rest of the project. So dependencies bring risk. So we have projects which are unique and complex, which are based on assumptions and dependencies. Projects are all about change. Change brings risk with it. So we start with something that we know, a beginning condition, and we're aiming for something at the end of the project and working towards it. And during that change, things may happen that we hadn't foreseen. So change is always risky. And finally, projects are done by people. Projects are not done by processes or by machines or robots or computers. Projects are done by people. And we bring uncertainty and risk with us to our projects in terms of our motivation and our skills, our productivity, our relationships, communication. All of these things bring risk into the project because it's done by people. And I know we'll talk about people aspects later on in this series. So because all projects are unique and complex, based on assumptions and dependencies, delivering change through people, all projects are risky. Now, you might try to de-risk a project by saying, let's take some of those things away. Let's have something which we've done before, which is simple, where we know exactly how it's going to work out and we can do it all ourselves, and we're not changing anything, and we're using automation or processes to deliver it. Well, that's fine, but it's not a project. That would be a process, it would be an operation. But projects are always unique and complex, based on assumptions and dependencies, delivering change through people. That's what projects do. And because all projects have those characteristics, then all projects are risky. That's why we need risk management in projects. But of course, in project management, we have a lot of other disciplines as well as risk management. We have scope management, we have time management, cost management, quality management, and so on. All of the other project management disciplines exist to manage some aspect of the riskiness of projects. So for example, scope management, we develop a scope statement, we may have a work breakdown structure The purpose of the scope statement is to tell you what is in the project and what is not in the project. So our scope management is managing scope uncertainty. The reason we build a schedule, a project plan, is to say this is how long each of our tasks will take, and so we can tell how long the project will take. It's to control and manage time uncertainty. The reason we have a budget and we estimate each of our tasks and we add it up to make the overall project budget is to control cost uncertainty. So if each of the standard project management disciplines exists to manage some form of risk, you might ask, why do we need risk management? Because project management itself is about managing risk.
Of course.
But of course, the idea of risk management is to look for the things that are not covered by our standard approaches, by standard scope management and time management and cost management. And there are other uncertainties that matter within our projects, and the purpose of risk management as a separate discipline within projects is to try to identify those additional things which aren't picked up by our routine processes. So yes, projects are risky because of their nature. Project management is designed to try and control and manage some of that risk, but risk management is part of the picture as well, because there are always things that we don't pick up in our standard processes.
Well, looking to those 5 characteristics you have talked about, 6, which one is important?
They're all important. So if we took out any of those 6 characteristics, the project would not be a project. You cannot have a project which is not unique, or which is not complex in some way, or which is not delivered by people. So it's built into the very nature of projects to always have those characteristics, which is why projects are always risky.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.